Right. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Abhishek Oberoi, and welcome you all to the orientation session for the audit program for USCPA.
Let's start. Let me first introduce myself, and this is how we are going to progress in today's session. We will be taking all the questions, and we'll be taking all sort of queries from your side in terms of how this program is going to be taken forward, specifically on the auditing and the attestation piece. I know some of you are already enrolled with us for the CPA program, and some of you are pretty new and would want to try out as to how this program will look like at VG Learning Destination along with in partnership with Grant Thornton. So as a faculty member, I will take all the questions which are coming through, and I will be the faculty to take forward the auditing and the attestation piece, which is one of the four topics in the CPA program. I'm a qualified chartered accountant and a qualified CPA with over 12 years of teaching experience in the CPA field, been teaching for the last 12 years. And I've been associated with Becker's for all this time, and I know for a fact that I studied with Becker's. So I vouch for Becker's very strongly as a brand and as a study material for the CPA examination. Moving forward in terms of the agenda today, we'll quickly look at CPA as an examination and the sections at a glance in terms of what all is there in this particular area. And then we'll move over to the auditing and the attestation piece. Finally, I will show you as to how Becker software will work accordingly and what sort of approach we guys will follow when we are conducting these classes. We will also be showcasing you the schedule with which we plan to conduct our classes over the next couple of months. And then finally, we'll be providing you with names of single point of contact and WhatsApp group where you can ask questions. If you have anything in your mind coming up, you surely can raise concerns anytime. People will answer to you on your queries at the appropriate best time. Let's talk about CPA. So, guys, before I move on to these slides, a lot of students, a lot of my previous colleagues, they would ask me this question as to how CPA is different from CA. What's your experience, Abhishek? And I would tell you that both the exams are pretty different. It is just not comparable that if you've done CA, then it's a short thing that you'll clear CPA, or vice versa, that if you have not done CA, then you may not be in a position to do CPA, because these are two different school of thoughts, two different scheme of examination, and a completely different world in terms of how the examinations are conducted. However, I must say this, that the content is pretty similar. Let's say, for example, we have financial accounting and reporting as one of the topics in CPA, and we have accounting there in the India CA and other BCom graduation courses. The topics which will be covered in accounting are 90-95% similar all across the globe. There will be few nuances of country level detailings, but that hardly matters for 5-10%. But the basic core of accounting will be pretty similar to as what it is all across the globe. Just like chess. Chess has rules, regulation. Any game, anything which has virtues will have rules, and those rules will be pretty standard. And similarly, those rules are pretty standard whether it's CPA US or whether it's CA here in India or any other BCom courses here in India. So if you are a commerce graduate, if you have knowledge of accountancy, finance, audits, then in that case, CPA becomes a lot more easier to crack. And of course, the time is with your side. You can crack a CPA examination in much lesser time as compared to an Indian CA examination. So US CPA basically comprises of 4 different papers. And these are 4 different topics: financial accounting and reporting, auditing and attestation. Today we are going to talk more in detail about auditing and attestation. And then we have regulation, and then finally business environment and concept. Let me quickly touch base on all four, and that's how we are going to take things forward. It will be a quick talk about what these four topics are and what's my understanding is with regards to all four of these topics, and then we deep dive into the auditing section and how do we plan to move forward with auditing as a plan. All right, so here is the thing about this entire examination. A CPA examination comprises of a lot of multiple choice questions and some or few task-based simulations. What are TBS, task-based simulations? These are consortium arrangement of detailed case studies where you will have to provide answers and do justification of whatever has been asked in those particular questions. So there can be different concepts which can be asked in one particular case study. You have to go through all those case studies and provide for information in that task-based simulation. The name itself suggests it's a task-based, that means case study-based simulation where an environment will be created that if this happens, then what is your thought? What will you do as a consultant, as a professional, as an auditor, so on and so forth. So a task-based simulation is an equal offset within the examination for CPA along with multiple choice questions. Let me share my experience with the CPA examination. I would say it's been time that I've taken my examination. So I may just want to call this out that I was one of those few who started early in terms of doing CPA. People were just getting to know about how CPA can add value in India as well. And I was one of those few who actually did this exam. At that particular point of time, I never had the coaching in terms of somebody would tell me how the exams will be conducted. So pretty nascent, pretty, I would say, no voice to that level where went to US and was prepared to the best of my extent, whatever I could plan for. And then I had planned my examinations accordingly to my convenience, because that is the benefit which you get out of planning for your CPA examination, that you can plan your exams as per your date, time, convenience. It does not have to be like a date sheet which you follow, so on and so forth. So went to US. Luckily for me, I selected, never been to US before. So just to add to that, luckily for me, what I did was I selected a place which turned out to be a marvel in itself. I selected San Francisco. Those who have been to US and those who would want to go to US in future, I've traveled length and breadth of US after that, and I must tell you that nothing comes close to San Francisco. It's a beautiful place. Throughout the year, the temperature remains within 7 degrees Celsius to 17 degrees Celsius. So it's neither too cold, it's neither too hot. It's a beautiful place. You just feel like walking around, going out, so on and so forth. So that was a good thing for me. Whenever I would step out, I would feel happy in that place. Now, don't think that I'm advertising for San Francisco here, but I'm telling you my experience as to what is important when you're taking this exam. When you're going for this exam, San Francisco helped me clear this paper. No voice, with no knowledge, going to a foreign land, taking the examination, what all helped me is what I'm talking about. San Francisco was one of those things. Because on the day of the examination, with all the nerves in there, with all the investments at the back of my mind, which I've invested to put through during this exam, whenever I would step out of my hotel where I was staying to go for my exam, I felt happy. And it's not that you should take exam in San Francisco, but what's the most important factor is when you're going to give your exam, you should feel light. You should feel happy. If you carry anything in your mind that, oh my God, there's so much money going, which I've invested for this, I've spent time to study through this, so it's important for me to crack this exam. If you're carrying a lot of burden on your heads, forget it, buddy. It will be a difficult task to clear these exams. Again, my personal take, different people have different thought process, but this is my guidance, my advice to people. Keep a clear mind, and I'm pretty sure you'll clear this exam. 75% of the work is done there and there itself. Now, I'm going for my exam. The first exam which I took was, I must say, to my liking, was auditing. At that time, auditing was a 4.5 hours paper. It was not 4 hours paper, it was 4.5 hours paper. And I was shit scared thinking of this fact that, okay, there is going to be an examination for 4.5 hours. I've studied in India where I'm used to paper and pen. This examination is going to be computer centric and I will have to answer multiple choice questions. What are the things which I should keep in mind when I'm taking this exam, so on and so forth. And the first thing which happens was I reached the center. Now it's a Prometric center where you take the examination. And I had selected, nothing auspicious about it. Sorry. Aditya is asking, yes, it's a recorded class. I was asking about this thing to myself that, okay, I entered into a Prometric center and I'm asking this gentleman who was sitting there, that I have scheduled for an exam, which is an auditing exam for CPA, and my exam starts at 12. So what should I do? He asked me for my passport. He asked me to scan everything. And it was like 11:15, 11:20. I thought I'll reach there early to get a hang of things and get over all the anxiety what I have during the exam. And 11:15, I was done with all the formalities and the guy says, okay, your exam is ready. You can go inside and take your exam. And I was like, what the hell? I am used to that Indian model where there's somebody who's ringing the bell that, yes, your exam is here. And that's when you come to know, okay, it's going to hit you. But this guy is saying the exam is right there. You guys you can actually go inside and take the examination. Again, a very anxious moment. But the moment I went into the exam, I was like, okay, fine, let me take it. First set, multiple choice questions. Now, this exam is purely a time management exam. You will feel, all right, 4 hours, and I'm not going to talk about 4.5 hours, but 4 hours with task-based simulations being there, plus multiple choice questions, equal weightage, divided by 50-50%. If we have close to 72 odd questions, in 2 hours, 2 hours is 120 minutes and 70 questions comes out to be 1.5 minutes per question. So you start allocating your time accordingly. 1.5 minutes per question. I was of the same opinion that this is the time which I will take. And my first testlet was 30 questions. And when I was doing 30 questions, I had planned for myself 45 minutes it should take for me to complete a testlet and then I can move forward. Do you guys know what time it took me to complete the first testlet? It took me just 15 minutes. 15 minutes. And I was done with 30 questions. And I was like, wow, if this is the level of CPA, then I'm going to cruise through. But I was like, okay, I may have made a mistake. Let me go through, revise it again. Took another 5 minutes. I said, no, this is not possible. Let me revise it again. I did revision twice for that testlet and was done in 25 minutes. Took a break. The clock was still running, but I took a break after submitting the testlet, went out, used the washroom, had water, came back in, and then started in 30 minutes time. I still saved 15 minutes on that particular testlet. By the time the exam was getting over, and we are talking about 4.5 hours exam, I was scampering for time. I was literally praying that, God, if I have 5 more minutes, I could do much better. The examiner is not a fool. When they say that it's a 4.5 hours exam or a 4-hour exam, then it is a 4-hour exam. I was a foolish person to actually think that the examiner has made, or it's a very easy paper, so on and so forth. But that was not the case. The examiner had it on time. The intensity of the examination goes to nth level during the examination itself. Plus, you are a little tired also seeing the screen for 4.5 hours. So it takes a toll. That's where, guys, CPA examination, if you want to crack this exam, It requires discipline. It requires time management. It requires you to feel happy that it's okay. I'm giving this exam. This exam will take me through, and it's just an exam in life. Once you have that good feeling in yourself, you will do well in this exam. And why do I say that? Because this exam is a conceptual exam. Let's go to the next slide here. Let's talk about multiple choice questions. There are 36 multiple choice questions in each testlet. 36 into 36. And if you see, there is a time management allocation which is done for you. Again, this is indicative. Every individual has different style of working. So don't go by this. This is just tentative indicative timelines which are given to you. 36 multiple choice questions, total 72 multiple choice questions. And then there are 8 task-based simulations. This is how you should plan for the entire examination. When you're talking about multiple choice questions, now this is an interesting piece. When you're talking about multiple choice questions, what do you think the examiner is going to ask you about? The examiner has bloody the entire field to play on. The examiner can ask you any question, any concept. And that is where this exam gets tricky. And this exam gets exciting as well. Because at the end of the day, the examiner has the entire play area to play in. Nothing like that happens here in India, at least in my time when I was doing CA and BCom Honors. We would know that from a chapter, 20 marks question will only come from a particular concept. If the examiner is smart enough, he or she will actually, what they will do, they will actually break few concepts and put 5 marks question in it. But it takes a lot of effort for people to go ahead and do that. But again, they will not have 20 questions created for a 20 mark question. So whenever we used to study in India, we would be very smart thinking, okay, this is the concept. We should know this concept. This is a 20 marks concept. And boom, we were sure that by doing 35-40% of the total course, we will get through the exam, because practically we have done like 80-85%. Just like Pareto analysis, we have done that. Not here in CPA. Here in CPA, it's very important that you know every concept, because the examiner is going to test you on those concepts. And he has the play area to that front. Any questions, anything, even a single line can come as a concept that what do you think about this particular concept? So it's important that when you are studying through this exam, when you are reading and preparing through this exam, how do you do it? How do you take things forward? It is all if you have planned it well and you are clear on the concepts. No mugging up, no ratification. If you're good in ratification, this exam may not take you to the places, because when you're talking about 1 minute to make a judgment and read through a question on screen and then analyze in your mind what are the concepts, mugging up won't help. Ratification won't help. It has to be all conceptual. And that's where VG Learning Destination comes into picture, because as your faculty, we'll walk you through all the concepts. And Becker comes into picture, because Becker has a huge volume of multiple choice questions which you can practice in. Let's say you did your class, and we're going to talk more about approach. You did your class, you understood a concept, and this is how a concept actually plays on. It stays in your mind. And when it's there in your mind, you go back home, you start applying that concept. Now, if you are not able to answer that question, whatever is there in the multiple choice question bank, then somewhere or the other, the wiring of that concept in your mind is not correct. What you should do is immediately raise an alarm, because if that wiring, the incorrect wiring in your brain gets permanent, then taking and breaking that concept gets really difficult. And that's why it's important that we should have a clean slate and build new concepts. We'll talk more about it when we are talking about details here. So when we talk about content allocation for auditing, let's focus some time on this slide. So 5 sections to be precise in terms of examination. There are 2 testlets which carry multiple choice questions. Ideally, you should plan for 1.5 hours of the 4 hours time frame to complete those two testlets. And then you have 3 testlets carrying task-based simulations. Now, let's understand this. Why task-based simulations carry more time as compared to multiple choice questions? The most important fact here is it's about the details. In a task-based simulation, they're going to give you a good detailed case study. And when you're reading through details, our brain has to be trained enough to, whenever they're going through details, they actually start capturing the bullet points. Okay, this was important, this was important, this was important, this was important. So then when you go to questions which are there provided to you later on after the case study, you know which area to come back and reference whenever you're doing that question. Otherwise, if a question comes out and you were not detailed enough in terms of going through the detailed case study, then what will happen? You will be going through the case study again. Oh my God, I missed out this point. Where was this point? Here, and you'll lose a lot of time. Whereas in multiple choice questions, even though the examiner may want to make it trickier for you, may want to provide a lot of details in the question, but still they know for a fact that there are so many multiple choice questions out there. So they're going to make it very concise, precise, to the point, so that people can choose the best possible answer. So that's where task-based simulations needs to be given the due respect of awarding or allotting a higher time categorization there out of the 4 hours. In terms of skill allocation, now this is what the beauty is. It's not about mugging up. It's about application. Your case studies will be given to you. 30 to 40% will be on application. A concept you have learned, a concept which you have understood. How would you apply that concept practically? So case studies are important. That's where you will be asked questions. You will be asked about case studies, and then you will be asked to apply concepts. Remembering and understanding. There are a lot of things which you need to remember. Specifically in case of audit. Why? In case of auditing and attestation, there is the primal factor, the basic factor, which comes out to be as ethics, code of conduct, professional mannerism. Whenever you use these terms, you just can't deviate and bring some sort of, hey, this was not material enough. I am applying my own common sense here, so probably according to me, this is right. No. Whenever you're setting rules, whenever you're setting the ground, it has to be flat. There are no ifs and buts. So in auditing and attestation, and this applies to regulation also, because in regulation, you have law, you have taxation. These two subjects, there are no ifs and buts. Whatever has been prescribed by a particular authority, that needs to be followed. Otherwise, your answers are not perfect. It may sound okay, but they're not perfect. And that is what auditing and regulation as exams are. Analysis, since not much of practical exposure is here, that's why analysis is like 15 to 25%, but more so these analysis will be on the front of understanding a case study and analyzing the case study. And finally, evaluation. Evaluation is also important, 5 to 15%. So out of the total value of 60 to 80% comes out from application, remembering and understanding, and remaining 40 to 20%, whatever is the value, comes to analysis and evaluation. Let's go through content and weightage. Ethics, professional responsibilities, general principles, 15 to 25%. Assessing risk, developing planned responses, 20 to 30%. We'll talk more in detail about all this. Performing further procedures, obtaining audit evidence, 30 to 40%. And then forming conclusions and reporting is 15 to 25%. This is the content and the weightage for the exam. And this is how it should be done. Any question, guys? Anyone, any questions? Hope this is going fine. The speed is fine. If you want me to change anything, you want me to focus on any area, please use the chat window, ask your questions. No questions, no concerns. Shall I move forward? All right. Onam is asking, what is the max study time for the subject? I will talk more in detail there when we move to the approach which we'll follow. Is there any difference between Indian essays and US auditing standards? Again, like I said, there will be differences because every country has different set of laws. In US is generally accepted auditing standards, GAS, and in India the auditing standards also apply for. However, like I said, 90-95% the basis will be the same. There will be hardly any differences. And whenever you're talking about code of conducts and requirements, the ethics standards remain same unless there are few nuances in a particular state. Rather, in the US, as we call it, it's called United States of America. It's not a country like India where one rule applies to all. Every state has different rules. Every state has different ethic laws. So, in certain states, like for example, in certain states, you can carry guns freely. In certain states, you can carry guns which are hidden. In certain states, you just can't carry guns because every state has different laws, different rules, different nuances. And that's why the country is called United States of America. So that means every state has their own power. They don't govern like India as a do. So there will be differences in the auditing standards between India and US, but not material, not something which you have to completely scrap off and then redo the entire exercise. I hope that answers your question, Shubham. Aditya is asking, what are select transactions? Is there any slide which you are referring to? Slide 7, content, FAR. All right. So no, this is not task-based simulation. This is FAR, content and weightage. Select transactions means some of the transactions in accounting, how those transactions will actually be accounted for. So that is what it is all about. So if you have done orientation for FAR, more in detail, more in depth in terms of that topic will be talked about. But for this particular section today, I can just talk about this. This is one of those details where you go into every aspect of P&L balance sheet, and then you start about transactions which will be impacting those accounts. Yeah. So 20-30% of the weightage comes out going through all the transactions like lease accounting, bonds, so on and so forth. All right. Sanjeev is asking, what is the success rate for CPA US audit compared to auditing in ICAI? I passed CA final auditing on self-study basis. Please guide. Sanjeev, like I talked about, see again, these are two different examinations. You just can't compare one to another. And this was the basis around which I started this whole orientation. And I will call this again. When you are taking a India-based examination, there is a lot of bias in terms of understanding what a 20-mark question can be asked from a set of topics which are there available. And every chapter, there will be just one question. From the entire chapter, there will be one question, which is a 20 marks question. So whenever you're preparing yourself, you can be quite a bit of constrained in terms of going through all the concept. But US CPA is a different, if I may use the word, devil altogether, because they can ask anything from the book, from the content which is there. And that's where it's important to study differently for the CPA examination. So my guidance is, don't compare the don't compare the two. If auditing for ICAI was something which you have done going through in detail, then US CPA will be on the same basis. But understanding the exam, going through the exam and going through the content the way the examiner wants, that's where you need guidance from experts. Alright, Aditya is asking, is it better to give audit with FAR? Again, that's a very personal choice. Whatever you feel like you're comfortable with. These are the two big topics, I would say, in the entire CPA forum. FAR and auditing are two different structures. If you club them together, it's decent enough. There would be overlaps between the 4 subjects altogether. But if you would want to clear audit with FAR and you have the time, you have the availability, then surely go ahead and do that. When I planned for my examination, I did audit first and I gave all the 4 examinations together. So I gave audit first and then I did regulation, because regulation for me was very easy. I felt like one difficult, one easy, and then one difficult and one easy. And that's how I planned for all 4 examinations. So I did audit, BEC, audit, regulation, and then I did financial. That okay, fine. Now it comes to another big topic. And then finally I moved to the BEC portion. So that's how I planned for it in my examination. If that helps you in planning for yourself, you may want to take my advice, but again, that depends on your style of studying. Alright, so FAR, I'm not going to spend time on FAR BEC. If you've attended their orientation, I don't want to spend a lot of time there, but if you've not attended, I just want you guys to quickly see in terms of what is there for these examinations. I'm sure Weijing e-learning destination will actually have orientations for each and every topic for the benefit of their students. 66 multiple choice questions for FAR, 8 task-based simulations. And then you have weightages. The next topic will be regulation. Now, I will share my thought. Now, people will ask, why do you say regulation is easy or difficult? I will talk about all these 4 exams. And I'll talk about audit the last. FAR, if I talk about financial accounting and reporting, can you crack that paper and clear that paper? Hands on, you can take it up, clear that paper without any difficulties. If you are conceptually strong. And if you love accounting. If you love accounting, your concepts are strong, then you know for a fact that whatever is provided in Becker material, if you're able to do that, you will be able to clear this exam without any issues. FAR is straightforward. It's all accounting. It's right there, up there in the league. And you know for a fact that it's only accounting which is going to come my way. So FAR, I would rate in terms of, although I gave my exam and I thought it's going to be a difficult exam, for me, FAR was a much easier exam, because when you're taking that exam, you know it's all accounting which they are going to ask for, and there's not much of a issue there. Regulation, again, a very simple exam from that standpoint. It has a set of taxations and it has a set of I would say mercantile law or business law. Mercantile law or business law, like I said, law would remain same. The basis remains same all across. Sales of Goods Act, so on and so forth. You have done it all if you are a commerce student. It will be pretty same, pretty simple, and you guys can do it. And that portion, whatever comes for law, is an easy cakewalk for people who know what law is. And when it comes to taxation, now there are 2 different types of taxation. One is direct tax, one is indirect tax. And in the direct taxation piece, they will actually first teach you about how individuals will be taxed and how corporate will be taxed, so on and so forth. Now, there is a lot of overlap between this topic, because individual taxation and corporate taxation, the type of expenses, what is allowed, what is not allowed, something or the other will be an overlap. So you guys can actually filter out when you're taking those exams, what are those overlaps. And that's how a content of 10-15 chapters gets reduced to 7-8 chapters, and you can do a further reduction in your mind if you're smart enough and you're reading through all the data. Because at the end of the day, that's how you should be preparing for this exam. So for me, regulation was again simple, and I still stick to that point. Sorry, there is something on the chat window. Let me quickly check. All right, regulation. How regulation is different from Indian taxation? Of course, hell lot of a difference. Hell lot of a difference from Indian taxation. Very beautiful, very entertaining. I love the way US does their taxation. I am a strong believer with the way US taxation is dealt with. So if you compare that to Indian taxation, a lot of difference. The regulation piece, the corporate taxation piece, and the individual taxation piece is very different. But it's when you read through that, you will actually feel, wow, that these people have actually put in a lot of time to come up with an ideology as to how things are there in the US taxation. So it's different, but it's interesting, and that is what really keeps it going. And it has to be different, right? Every country has a different tax law. Aditya, are you asking about, is it better to give theory paper? Which is theory paper, Aditya, you are asking? Aditya, if you can provide more details there, I can. Reg is more theory, or is it? Oh, it's practical also. It's a beautiful paper. That is what I'm saying. It is a mix of theory and practical. Theory will come from the standpoint that what is the law, right? And you just can't have ifs and buts there. Whatever is prescribed in a law, it will come like that. And if those kind of questions come to you, you should feel happy. You don't have an option, right? Because you have to select one answer, and the answer will be there on the face of it. So generally, people don't ask those questions. People will try to make it a little difficult, provide you with more case studies, and that's where the practical aspects comes into picture. This entire exam is not theory based. Don't think that you have to write things down or mug up definitions. Because whenever you have to mug up definitions, it is just so very simple because you don't have to write it down. By reading the 4 options there, the examiner knows that, yeah, it's too easy. Asking a definition is just too easy. You have to give them case studies. So all 4 exams will have case studies. So it's practical aspects. You don't have to do calculations, but it's practical. All right. Please elaborate about centers in India will be available in 2021. Will there be case laws too? Yeah, there will be case studies in law too as well. They will have to do it, like I said. All right. There's another question on similar lines about center about 2021. Sanjeev Kumar has also asked a similar question. Sanjeev, let me just complete my approach to the examination, and then probably I will guide you to the right person to provide you for that answer. Me being a faculty can only provide how best we can take this examination. However, we have set of experts sitting at VG Learning Destination who can help you with what are the centers which are available outside in India, if those are available in 2021, so on and so forth. So these people can talk more in detail. But if you want to talk about the approach that if you start in October, can you take the exam in March 2021 for all 4 papers? Again, that's possible. For me, that's possible. As in my mind, that's possible. Not that I can do it, you cannot do it. But in my mind, that's possible. But you will have to figure out what you're doing right now along with it. Yeah, if you qualify all the papers, then you will be qualified for CPA. That means you have taken all the papers. But of course, for licensing and other parts, there are other requirements, which again, I will have somebody from VG Learning to actually speak to you about. Siddharth. All right, so I was talking about regulation. It's an easy paper. Next come in line is business environment and concept. Yeah, Rohit, I was talking about the sequence to sit for the exam. This again is my sequence. Aditya is asking, does regulation have regular updates like Indian taxation? Of course, every taxation will have updates every 6 months or 12 months. But you don't have to worry about it. They won't change the entire tax details, right? They won't do that. All right. I think there was another question. I missed out that probably. What was the sequence? So I was talking about the sequence which I followed. I did audit, then regulation, then FAR, and then BEC. Now regulation and FAR to me are simple because these are topics which are coming from a normal set of conceptual thought process. However, when I took the examination and when I studied, for me, the most difficult were audit and financial because, of course, the content is huge in both these areas. Regulation, 30% of it for me was cakewalk because 30% of it was mercantile law, which I generally am very comfortable with. The 70% of the taxation bit, I love taxation and I kind of read through it. So regulation became the next priority for me. And then I kept BEC as last because BEC, as you can see on your screen, has very few task-based simulations, have some written communication to it, and have few multiple choice questions. That's where I went wrong. Like I said, I underestimated the examiner. I underestimated BEC. For me, if I rate now, for me, BEC comes right after audit in terms of difficulty level. And this happened when I was there in US when I was doing my revision. And suddenly something happened which made me nervous for BEC. And I was like, how could I not think about this particular aspect? When I was studying back here in India, I used to complete, and this is how I was studying, I would complete a particular topic, a chapter, and then take multiple choice questions, then move to the next chapter, take multiple choice question, take next chapter, do multiple choice questions. And by the end of it, I was done with the entire subject. And I used to score pretty good on multiple choice questions. So I was like, yes, I'm ready to take the exam. With this, I went to US. And when I was revising, and I had like 2-3 days to revise for, and I was like, I don't have time to go through the entire details now. I can't just go through all the details. I've already taken 3 examinations. I was up to my brim in terms of remembering stuff. So I was like a little taken aback, a little tired. I was thinking what to do, what not to do. And suddenly it hit me. BEC is what? Business environment and concept has economics. It has costing. It has financial management. It has corporate governance. It has X, Y, Z, so many different topics. And it hit me like, in the examination when it comes, they will not say this, that it is coming from the costing section. They will not say it is coming from the financial management section. Or this is coming from the economics. So till the time I've read through the entire question, my brain needs to come up with a level of what topic these people are asking me for. It comes as a surprise. And that is where I got nervous. Although the concepts like costing is going to be pretty easy as compared to what has been taught here in India because they have to complete the entire costing in one chapter. Similarly for financial management, similarly for economics. Concepts won't be difficult. Something which you've already studied for, something which you already know. Ratios you will know. But till the time the examiner asks you that question and in a time management examination, how do you ensure that you remember that concept at the end of the day for that particular topic is very important. And that's where BEC gets a little trickier for me. And that's where I rank BEC second in the list of difficulties. All right, great. So that's where, so for me, the hierarchy of difficulty is audit first, then BEC, then FAR, and then regulation. But again, this is me. I have a question from Praveen who's asking me, you prepared with pure Becker instructors or mixed with Indian tutors? I never had the privilege privilege of that time to just go with Becker instructors. They were the only ones. The Indian instructor or tutors were not as detailed as what VG Learning has actually devised for. See, you guys are privileged to have two different set of instructors. The Becker instructor will always be there, and I will strongly recommend you guys to go through Becker instructors' lectures, because the way they teach, it is very Americanized. And you guys should know how Americans get taught, what sort of thought process they need to apply for. So, these faculty which Becker are providing for, and they've spent enough hours of research in terms of how to pass the information on to respective individuals. So, strongly recommended, do that. However, the Indian instructor will make sure to provide you the requisite details and give examples which are relevant right now, which are more Indianized, so that you remember those concepts. And that's why it's important to do both, the Indian instructors as well as US instructors. It will really help you a long way. And that's where this entire model came into picture of doing classes for Indian students with Indian faculty. Alright, I'll talk more about audit now. I've spent too much time talking about all these details, but let's talk about auditing and attestation. If you guys can see this on the screen, this is coming from chapter 1 of your books, the audit process. Now let's spend time. Why auditing is the most difficult subject according to me? Not because I am doing auditing here at VG Learning. I do all the subjects. It's not the case. But for me, auditing is the most difficult exam. Why? Because the examiner is one step ahead of the students. In the beginning, I said auditing is all about ethics, professional mannerism, code of conducts. Audit is something which is prescribed. It's ingrained. It's something which is written. People will have to follow what is written. People just can't sway away from the things. Anyone who's worked in a Big Four or anyone who's worked in an auditing firm, they know for a fact how documentation needs to be done. They have to follow said procedures. And at the end of the day, there is very little scope of any sort of things which can be done as per personal convenience. You can't do it. Same is the case with the examination. So auditor, the examiner knows for a fact that I have very limited scope of asking questions where the student will actually come to know what is right. For me, clearing audit paper was so simple because I used to follow Gandhigiri in audit paper. Anything where my heart says that this is pure, there is absolutely no way, any which way you can actually have any sort of customization, or you can provide for any sort of individual aspirations out there where people feel, if I could do it like this, or judgment being involved, that for me this is good, for him it may be bad, so on and so forth. Any which ways, you go with the Gandhi logic of everything is right, whatever seems perfect, that is the right answer. And I used to clear audit papers like that, not for CPA. The examiner is cruel. The examiner will give you 4 multiple choice questions as an options, 4 answers, which will look pretty similar. It will be just like you're looking at the mirror and all the 4 answers seems right. Which one to choose? And the person is going to be so smart, the person will say, choose the best possible answer in the question. Choose the best possible answer. All the answers are right. That person himself, the examiner, knows that when I'm creating this paper, I know all 4 looks right. You have to choose the best possible answer. And that's where the exam gets tricky. That's where people actually feel shaken up. Because what the examiner is doing when they are throwing in this question, what are they doing? They know you'll come to the best possible answer. They know for a fact that you will decide on it, but they are hitting you on your time. They know that you will not be in a position to complete your time. So that is where this exams get a lot of tricky. You have to understand how to navigate through the entire exam with the concepts, because the concepts will be pretty easy to understand, not difficult. Auditing is something which you have been doing. if not through your examination, but something which you know how to do in normal course of life as well. So that's why I keep auditing as number one, because the exam gets really difficult. Trust me on that. But in terms of studying through the exam, it's a pretty easy, pretty cakewalk, pretty simple examination. And on your screen, you can see what is the audit process. To talk about the audit process, you start first with understanding what are the controls of a particular organization. And that's how you start auditing for. You go into a company, you do walkthroughs, you understand, okay, what do you do? Can you help me understand? Where do you get your information from? Where you get your data from? How do you account for things? What are the software which you're using? So on and so forth. The next thing what you do is define an engagement with the management. Okay, my scope of work will be to provide for audit, but for XYZ entity. If there's any other entity which is rolling up into your parent company, then that needs to be called for. Do you want me to audit that or not? What do you want me to certify? So on and so forth. Once you have the understanding, once you have the engagement letter, what do you do next? You assess risk. Alright, now the team of the auditors are sitting together, and what are these people thinking about? Alright, this is how this company looks like. Let's look at the risk area. They have strong internal controls or not? Do we need to find samples into various risky accounts like accounts receivables, deferred revenue, so on and so forth whenever we are doing ratio analysis or other sampling techniques which needs to be applied while picking out samples. And once we have picked out samples, then we have to provide for audit evidences for all those cases. And whether those are reasonable, duly diligent sample cases is something which audit is all about. And once you have done all this, then finally, how do you communicate it back? Whatever your findings are to the management. And then you give audit reports. So this is the entire process of audit, and this is what you are going to study in this entire segment of audit for the next couple of months. Now this next slide talks about the book. I just gave you an overview of what audit process is all about, basic detail about what the entire course will look like. However, and people generally ask me, Abhishek, how do you want us to study? Right? It's an important question. Everyone has that question. This is a new exam. First and foremost, and I tell this to all my students, Becker in their books, Becker in their material, they give assurance that we are 95-97% there in terms of the content, which will come in the examination. So it's a very exam-centric book. Let's say, for example, and this generally does not happen, I haven't seen it, but let's say, for example, there's still an iota of doubt in your mind where you think, what about if they only provide for 95% of what will come in the examination? What about the remaining 5%? What do I do with that? Now, there are two options with you. One option is for that remaining 5%, you go above and beyond and start studying for another material wherever, whatever you feel like, or maybe do Google search, or maybe do something else. Think about the time investment you're going to put in for that additional 5%. If that 5% is there. Whereas I haven't seen Becker missing out on any of the concepts in their books. So do you want to do that? Answer is no. I would not recommend that. I would say make 95% so strong that you know for a fact that if 100% of the exam comes from this book, I'm good. Even if 95% comes from this book, I'm sure to get 75% percentile marks to clear my examination. So make it your Bible, make it your book to go through details, and that's how you should study. Instead of just roaming around, because again, you guys would want to clear the exam. I want to clear the exam and I wanted to do it. If I want to do any sort of consultation later on or advice later on, I will have the BEAR Act in front of me. Whenever a client asks me any question, I can provide that information going through in depth, in detail, wherever needed. but not for the examination. My examination purely has to be exam centric, and Becker's material provide me with that kind of flexibility, that I am very exam centric and I have a concise data to study through that material. Keeping this in mind, how do you study? Generally, students ask me about how do you study, and this is just a quick overview of what it is all about. And I'm going to come to this briefly about talking about all this, because we're going to talk more in detail when we study. If you guys read through a newspaper, and I'm pretty sure if I ask you this question, who name the actresses whose name is right now appearing in the narcotics business in the news, and I'm pretty sure you'll name those 4 or 5 different actresses who are there. Rather, there will be few of you who would say, sir uska bhi naam aaya tha, sir uska bhi naam aaya tha, sir uska bhi naam aaya tha. आपने शायद पढ़ा नहीं होगा, शायद वो उस न्यूज में था, शायद मेरे सोशल मीडिया में आया, शायद मेरे व्हाट्सएप पे आया. So you guys will actually start adding to all those points. Have you ever wondered why you are able to recall all that? It's just something which flipped by your eyes. It's just something which came across you and you guys thought, hey, how is it possible that I remember all this? It doesn't happen when you read through this through your books. Yeah, Aditya is saying because it's shown to you in a repeated manner. The answer is very simple. No matter whether you would want to mug it up, no matter whether you want to learn it or not, your mind is a beautiful thing. Even if you read through a newspaper with interest, I'm sure you'll remember it. Today also, if I ask you guys, where was Virat Kohli, Anushka Sharma got married, you will tell me the place. Where did Deepika Padukone, Ranveer Singh got married, you will tell me the place, because you have never mugged it up. It is something what your brains work for. So when you are going through these books, when you are studying for CPA examination and you want to remember concepts, my friends, please do this. Your first reading should be reading like reading a newspaper. Do your classes. First do your classes, get your concepts built in, and then go back home. And don't think that you're going to mug up the entire book. Just read the entire chapter like you're reading a novel, reading a newspaper. It's going to stick. Trust me on that. It's going to stick in your mind, the concepts. Yeah, Sonali is asking, reading through Becker's simulation, practicing MCQ for the exam, is it sufficient? My take, and this is my personal take, hands down, it's sufficient. You don't need to worry about anything else. You don't need to have to look into any which way. So, this is how you should study for your exams. Read through the book, do your classes, read through the book, and take multiple choice questions. And then be done with it. Even if you score like 45-50%, you know for a fact wherever you're losing, what concepts are not clear. Get those corrected, and then keep that chapter aside. Once you're done with the entire subject, go back again, pick your book. Now you know what all questions you need to validate for, what concepts. Go through the entire book once again and do multiple choice questions and simulations. Do this thrice, and I'm pretty sure you're ready for the exams. 3 times if you do this entire drill. Now, the first time the drill might take 2 months. The next time the drill will take close to like 20 days for completing the entire chapter. The next time it should bring it down to, you guys should bring it down to 7 days. And then you can plan for your exam where you can revise the everything within 2-3 days by having your notes ready, by having your flashcards ready, so on and so forth. Everything out there, and you guys can just completely wrap it up. So this is my idea. This is how you should do it. This is when you know that you're ready for the exam. If you've done this in a sequence, and that's how you should study for it. Sure. Aditya is asking, can you tell me what are the heavily tested areas in each chapter so that we can focus on the same when we revise? Like I said, Aditya, you are making that same mistake. What Indians generally do, we would want to work 30% and say through Pareto analysis, we are 80% there. This exam, the examiner can ask anything in a multiple choice question. We can, of course, tell you about this. What are the critical concepts? We'll mark those down for you as well. And there are annotated books which you will have to refer for. But again, guys, we are talking about 70, 80 pages, one chapter. If there are 10 pages, 70 or 700 pages, by the time you're done with the entire course and by the time you have created your notes, every page you can flip through within 2-3 hours. Trust me on that. We are going to prepare you like that, where every paragraph, we will tell you what is the concept, you should write it down there. So that instead of going through the entire paragraph, you should write down the crux of that concept in your book or in your notebook, wherever it's possible. So that by the end of the day, if you have to revise it in one short day, in one day's revision time frame, you know, instead of reading through the entire chapter, you see that concept and it hits your mind. You say, okay, this concept, this concept, this concept. If you need more details, read through the paragraph so that it comes back to you if you've forgotten the concept. But you've got to be smart in terms of preparing those notes. There's no shortcut for this exam. I'm sorry, my friend, because of the multiple choice question methodology. All right, moving forward. This page, I just want to tell you this, and this is important, guys. Whenever you're reading, the first thing what I said, read it like a novel. Anyone who has written that book with Beckers, anyone, and if you guys are also writing a book, just keep this thing in your mind. It's very important. And this is not just for CPA. This is for any other professional course, what you're doing or wherever you will do. Give respect to the author. Every author has a different style. And every author is there to tell a story. Even if it's a practical question. Even if it is relating to a professional book. Do you think that author is foolish to put chapter 1 as A1 and not put chapter A3 there first? No, they don't want to do it because there is a story. Unless you have done reading chapter 1, you can't understand the flow in chapter 2. You can't understand the flow in chapter 3 unless you have done both the chapters. So on and so forth. So there is a story which is going on. When you are reading the book, you have to link from chapter 1 to chapter 10, chapter 11, chapter 6, whatever your subject is. But please, read it like a novel. This is a request why I'm doing it, because unless you do it, unless you really understand what the author is talking about, you will never get it. Like for auditing as a book, the first thing what we guys will teach you about is audit reports. If we go to the previous slide, audit reports is the last thing which you guys should know. But here the author is trying to tell you guys, first understand what you're trying to achieve. That's why understand what are the audit reports. Once you have understood this is the end objective, what you're planning for, then how to go to the end objective is through the process which will teach you in audit 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Beautifully written. Every book will have that sequence. You have to identify that sequence. And that's how you can learn things up. So first we understood in audit 1, what are we trying to achieve? And then we are moving forward in terms of how to achieve it. So in audit 1, we will talk about all the reports which are there. And as you can see, there are opinions which we'll talk. So as an auditor, what is the authority, what you can do justice for, and we talk about all that in audit 1. In audit 2, you talk about quality control, engagement, acceptance. So here in audit 2, we'll study more in detail as to how best we can understand an organization, how best we can see that organization, how they work, so that we can frame our testing, our assessments, basis, whatever information we have. So this is the walkthrough of the company and understanding step. The next is risk, evidence and sampling. In audit 3, you'll talk about what is the risk associated with the walkthrough. What do you think is a more risky area? What sort of evidences you'll need? What sort of sampling you'll need? So on and so forth. In audit 4, you will perform further procedures. Now, this is this is an interesting area. Whenever you're doing sampling, you should know what is the revenue cycle of the company. How do they earn revenue? What is the expenditure cycle? Rent happens every month. Salary happens every month. Bonuses happens once, twice every year. You have to understand, figure that out. Inventory cycle, how soon your inventory gets turned over. Investment cycle, how does the company invest and when does maximum amount of investments happen? This is something which is important before you actually do sampling and come up with what sort of evidences you will be needed to justify your stance. And then in A5, we'll talk about other attestation engagements, not just audit. So as an auditor, as somebody who's authorized by the statute or by this professional degree, this person will be in a position to audit and attest either the balance sheet or provide any other sort of attestations like government audit, single audit. You just need to attest on a bank statement. You can do that. You can say that, yes, your banking details are reflecting well in your books. You can do audits for your accounts receivable. You can do mergers and acquisitions audit, due diligence of balance sheets, which needs to be covered for. So somebody who is in that position can actually attest for what is there, not in the capacity of an auditor, not in the capacity of providing a qualified, unqualified, modified opinion on the entire financial statement, but you can do single audits as well. And the last chapter here for everyone is SARS engagements. Now again, these are specific attestation requests or reviews which people will have to do. Preparation engagements, compliance engagements. These are engagements which are not audit engagements. These are small engagements only for specific purposes. And people will have to do that as well. So these are the broad guidelines around which the entire subject of auditing is prepared for. Like I said, every chapter will be about 70, 75 odd pages. Some may go into 80, 90s also. But all in all, we are looking at 500 odd pages for A6. 500 odd pages for 6 chapters, 500, 550 is a pretty decent stretch. And if you've gone through the book, if you have seen the book, there's a lot of spacing which is given to the right. There's a lot of spacing in between. So if I compare it to any Indian book, you're practically talking about 350 odd or 400 pages. So that's the level of content which you have to go through in this examination. Well, CPA does not provide you with a direct material like ICAI, but CPA does provide you with question bank. There are a lot of questions which the CPA authority provides for, and those are the questions which are there in the repository of multiple choice questions. So Becker is highly advertised and highly recommended by the CPA institutes as well. I didn't tell you about this. I am currently working in a multinational organization as director of finance. And in my company, it's a US based organization. In my company also, for any technical aspect, we refer to Beckers. And this is not for CPA, this is for any technical, because their repository, their knowledge bank is so huge that we have taken license for Beckers just to go in detail for any industry specific knowledge, if we have to quote ourselves in front of auditors or otherwise. So it's a huge brand. It's a very well-known brand in the US. People rely on Beckers for their advices and their technical know-how. So that is what it is. Yes, Lalit is asking for AI-CPA question banks, then you can do that. I will just quickly show you that software and you can see where are those questions. A lot of those questions have been tagged accordingly. Yeah, Aditya, all those questions are there in your study bank. We have more than 2,000 questions in the study bank which Beckers have prepared. So hell lot of questions. You don't need to do 10-year questions, so on and so forth. CPA does not repeat questions. It's an online examination. They will not repeat questions. However, you will get same questions, same concepts, but in a different case study. So even if you would want to do, let me do last 10-year questions and clear this paper, won't help you because they will keep on changing questions. It's a very smart examination. You don't have to do it. Yeah, that is what I was talking about. There are total 1550 multiple choice questions in data bank, close to 2000. Plus also the other simulation and other test. If you have done all the test also, they will also have different questions. So close to 2000 questions. All right, with this, let me quickly take you through the software which Becker provides. All right, there is a question from iPhone 7 Plus. Do we have to conceptualize or memorize content or memorize the concept? The answer is pretty simple. If your English is good, you can redraft the concept with your own language. I'm sorry to quote this, but in Three Idiots, this is what Amir Khan actually kind of recommended when they were discussing about machines. And CPA exam recognizes that your verbatim needs to be professional, but it does not have to be exact. You don't have to mug up any definitions. If you can explain the concept, then you're good there. And please remember this, my friend. Written communication only happens in BC. It does not happen in any other what do we say, examination. I never said every state has different taxation laws. I said every state has different ethics amongst themselves. Taxation, CPA is certified public accountants as per American Institute of CPAs. It's a federal course. So every state will not have, even if state have different taxation laws as per that particular state, then that state needs to take care of that laws in their ethics exams. But to be an overall accountant, you need to clear the CPA paper, which is a federal examination. And every state has different ethics, not taxation. Federal taxation remains the way it is. All right, let me see if I have. All right, can you see my screen? This is the software for Beckers. We are going to start with auditing, start the course. So you can see on the screen, this is a very user-friendly material. It talks about how many modules are there, A1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It gives you a dashboard as to how much you have studied, how much you have not studied. It gives you a tracker for CPA exam, unlimited practice tests, skill videos, flashcards, everything is there. And you can go into these modules and then they are rating you also on these modules as to how well you're prepared for. So what this module is all about, this module is basically looking at your details here. What needs to be provided for, what needs to perform. In audit report, if you open that particular unit, you will have your requisite details. These are the modules which I had kind of elaborated in my slides. And if I go to resources, there is a pre-annotated ebooks. There are outlines which talks about basic guidelines, but this is the ebook which we are talking about. And it has all the details in there. And these are marked as per the Becker's faculty. And as you can see, there is a lot of space here in this book on the left and right side of the column. So whenever you're doing this paragraph, you should have your notes on the left or the right side of the book, so that when you're revising, you should just go through that particular note and you should be done with it. Alright, Aditya is asking, should we start doing practice questions after every chapter or should we wait for the syllabus to end? You should do it after every chapter. Like I said, your brain will be wired to a certain concept. I don't want that wiring to be permanent if it's wrong. If it's right, it's fine. But if it's wrong, then it's a problem. So you need to do those questions upfront to actually take those questions and see whether your conceptual framework is correct or not. There are additional resources to it. Like I said, you can create your own study plan. Onto your right, if you see, you have practice tests. You can take those tests. And then there are few other sections which you can take into consideration. There are 3 exams: exam 1, simulated exam 2, and exam 3. You can do these exams at your own beck and call. A very helpful material. I will let somebody from VG Learning to talk about this, if they'll be providing hard copies of the book as well. My understanding is ideally they should, but I'm not sure if what's the situation like in this pandemic. So I will defer that to somebody from VG Learning to answer. You can see what are the newly released questions by AICPA. What are the course updates? These are all there in this tool. You don't have to worry about it. This material will be available to you for over a period of 2 years. And you can get this on your cell phones. If you're working anywhere, you can, and you have time, you can just go through, revise through this. There are flashcards in there which talks about concepts. So you can actually go through all the flashcards if you want to revise anything. You will have access for 24 months. You can download it on your mobile app. And it includes lectures, flashcard, practice tests, mock exams. And guys, this is more than enough. If you guys want to take this exam either in December or in March or any time in future, you have to identify when will you be ready, right? You will have to be ready by the day to say, yes, I'm ready for this exam. If you keep thinking about this, that I can do this also, I can do that also, you'll never be ready. You will have to say, and that's why I said, make sure that you realize this, that whatever Becker is providing, that is enough. Because once I have done this, I have to trust in Becker's and say, this is the material I'm going to take forward for my examination, and this is what it is. If I have done this, I've done this thoroughly, I don't need to worry about anything else. If anything else comes up in the examination which is out of the course, out of the syllabus, that's fine. But that should not be more than 2-3%. I am willing to take that risk, but I am not going to go into that phase where I'm just going in loops, and at the end of the day, I will never be ready. Because this will happen with anything and everything. So keep that thing in mind when you're preparing for this exam. In terms of our approach, like I said, what we'll do is we'll go through each and every topic. We'll go in the classroom, walk through the concepts which are there. Now, there are 2 ways to do it. One is I read through the entire book and tell you and talk about here's what it is with regards to every line, what concept is hidden in it. Or what we can do is I prepare a quick summary of whatever concepts are there in that book, like somebody was asking about critical areas. And then once we wrap up the class, you guys can take back my slides or my notes and then incorporate those within your books, read through your books, and then come back. But this kind of flexibility will be available with us as to how the students would want to go through the class. If you guys would want to focus more on critical areas, spend time there, spend time on those concepts, we can do that. Otherwise, we can go through the book as well, so that you guys know that, okay, from a multiple choice question, every paragraph is important. People can ask anything. So we have gone through the book with our faculty and we know what concepts are there in the books. So we are going to do that. Coverage of the book is there. He'll give you practical examples. Now that's important because I come with close to 20 years of experience. And the other faculties also who are working with the VGLD, everyone is having their share of corporate experiences. So we are going to give something which is relevant right now. Yes, Itihas, you have to be 100% sure. Yes, you can suppose that because is 100% syllabus according to AICPA board. That is what I am talking about. You will have to presume that. Which faculty you're talking about, Sanjeev? Local faculty should be in a position to answer either in the next class or by the next class. Or if you have time pressed on any of the exams, then can be done on an earlier date depending on what sort of query you are in. But surely if it's you are there on the WhatsApp, if there is anything which is pressing where you need the response immediately, you will be registered on a WhatsApp where everyone for VGLD will be there and somebody will have to respond to your question and queries in time. We will not have a separate notebook, but we will have slides there if needed on various aspects. So you will be getting those additional slides. Yes, of course, you will be getting notes from myself as well on various topics. Again, guys, understand this. Whenever you're talking about my notes are going to be pretty similar to what are there in the books or what the other faculty is talking about. I won't create new notes, but I will provide you with additional details which tells you about how to go about reading through all those notes. That is what is more important. And at the end of the day, like I said, Becker's material is self-sufficient. At the end of the day, you should feel comfortable that whatever you're reading, you are able to understand that. I don't need to throw in additional notes there just to confuse you guys. It has to be a conceptual examination and you guys should not be confused with that. Alright, after giving practical exams, we'll be providing you with summary at the end of each and every topic, do some practical questions, and then finally take question and answers. That's how the classroom sessions will go with you guys. Yes, of course, there will be notes from our side, which you guys can reference and add to your books. Currently, we have planned for 14 classes along with this orientation. The timing here kind of changed because we had an overlap. Neha is asking, VGLD is collaborated with GT. I would like to know if all the faculties belong to GT. Well, all the faculties are registered with GT and we have an agreement with GT. So, yes, all the faculties have their agreements with Grant Thornton. Do we plan to have regular tests after each module? Generally, there are tests which are available in the system. We would recommend that we should do test by self-practice because in the classroom taking tests, some people they do spend that time, some people they don't. So that's where the Becker's material have their self-modulated tests. We would recommend that students do those tests by themselves. Alright, somebody is asking how is Becker better than another module? Like I said, this is an exam-centric module. It is through my personal experience and I've taught through various other modules. It's way better. It's well defined. It's crisp. And at the end of the day, guys, what matters is that one day before the exam, can you revise everything? Can you actually go back in the exam with the confidence thinking that you have revised everything? That's where Becker's material comes into picture because it's so concise, it's so precise, it's so exam oriented that you guys can revise for it. All right. So here are the details, phone numbers if you want to talk to anyone with regards to the application process, the course fee, so on and so forth, details with regards to how the classes will happen, what sort of material you will get, what sort of support you will get, so on and so forth. I am more like a faculty here, but these people are expert in terms of doing the admin work. They will make sure that they'll provide you with all the details necessary to make sure that it's a comfortable stay for you. so on and so forth. Any questions for me? With this, we come to an end of this orientation. If you have any questions, please feel free to speak up right now. I'll be happy to take questions from you guys. I know you guys have asked a lot of questions, but I hope this session was helpful for you guys. And I'm willing to take any questions if you have. You can ask your questions on the chat window and I'll be happy to answer those. Sanjeev, you want my contact number? I'm there on the WhatsApp group where you will already be added, so you can take my number from there. Aditya is asking, do we have to learn standards number also? Answer is no. You don't have to worry about standard number. Like I said, in the US, these people are cognizant of the fact that tomorrow, if you have to quote anything with regards to any case laws or any standards, then in all those cases, you have the BEAR Act with you. Anubhav is asking, give us some homework for this week so that once we start, we are ready with that. Sir, the homework for you is, at least for the auditing session, come with a fresh mind. That is the homework. That once you come to my class, you should not have anything at the back of your mind where a lot of things which are going in terms of auditing, which you already have worked upon. Because building something on a fresh ground is more easier if we have to demolish something and then rebuild it. So come with an open mind, come with a mind where you would want to learn, and that's the only homework which I want you to carry along with yourself. Be prepared for something which is exciting, something new which you're going to learn over a period of time. Alright, Rita is saying, mostly say Becker language is too hard and this book only is for those who graduates in US. Answer is Becker language is not very hard. That's where you need a local instructor to actually help you and understand each and every question, each and every concept. So keeping this thing in mind, it's really helpful that you are actually working with somebody where a lot of US students rely on it. So you know it's an authority. It is not something which is half-baked for Indians only. It is something where you are getting a material which is circulated worldwide. And that's where Becker as a brand comes into picture, because at the end of the day, you are going with a brand which talks about, yes, whatever I'm presenting to my students, it is something which is validated not just in India, but worldwide. So keep that thing in mind. Whatever language concerns are there with you, which you're not able to understand, your local faculty will actually help you understand that particular paragraph and tell you this is how you should read it, rather than getting stuck to a particular word, verbiage, so on and so forth. And this is what happens, that when I was talking to you about you should read it like reading a newspaper, this is what happens. Whenever you're reading a newspaper and you get stuck to a particular word, what do? You kind of move out. You kind of move on, right? And by the end of the paragraph, you understand, okay, what you're trying to say. So don't get stuck to a word or language. By the end of it all, you'll understand what the concept is. And that's why it's important to read it like a novel or read it like a newspaper. Sir, try to have a dedicated half an hour for doubts in every class, not half an hour, at least 15-20 minutes. Okay, sure. That depends. How do we plan for it? If we are going beyond time, we can do that. But at the end of the day, we can do it for last 15, 20 or 30 minutes. We can dedicate time for questions. What if we don't have any practical experience of auditing? Oh, more the merrier. I would love to have a student like you, because like I said, you are a clean slate. I can build the entire experience in front of you so that you can validate and see how things are. So For me as a faculty, it's a blessing in disguise that you don't come with any experience and I can start fresh in terms of sketching how auditing world looks like. It's when you come from a big four company and when I start talking about auditing and you say, hey, this is not how it is done, that is where for me to break whatever is there in your mind and rebuild it gets a little difficult. So for you, it's going to be much more easier and for me as well. All right. Uzair is asking on an average, how long does it take to prepare and be ready to appear for the exam? If you want to take all 4 exams, I would say 4 exams for preparation itself will take 2 months, 2 months, 4 months to prepare for 4 exams, provided you're doing both the subjects together simultaneously. So every subject takes 2 months to prepare for through these classes. And after that, like I said, it will take you another month for every subject to complete. If you are working somewhere, then it may take longer. If you're not working somewhere, then it will take less. But if you're not working anywhere and you have time at your disposal, then 4 months of classroom study, 2 months of self-study, and then 1 month, which is like 1 week per subject. 1 month is when you know that you are almost there. So 6-7 months is a good enough time. If you're not working, 6-7 months, you should be in a position to complete everything out. That's the amount of time I feel. Now, if you're working, it can go up to 1 year, but if you're not working, then 6-7 months is a good enough time. That's my personal take. People have different thought process and different methodologies there. May I know how many hours of session institute will conduct? It will be from 10 to 3, 5 hours session. Of course, there will be breaks in between. Do you suggest finishing some module from Becker module before starting with your live sessions? No, sir. Come to my classes, understand the concept first, and then go back and study. You will have the entire week for your disposal to study through, so don't need to come prepared with anything. Just make sure that for auditing purpose, you go through the entire flow of the classes. Will full-length mock test be conducted before appearing for the examination? Of course, the Becker module provides you with full-length mock tests, which are timed also. So you will do it at your own pace and at your own convenience. It's available in the Becker's module in the online platform, which is provided to you. All right. Sanjeev is saying, I have faced a little bit language accent issue into the webinar. So please advise how to overcome this if we opt for Becker faculty. Can we opt simultaneously for Indian faculty without extra charge? Oh, that is a sales pitch. Probably I will put this slide back on, which talks about SPOC details. You can ask them about charges, but of course, we are talking about Indian faculty helping you out along with Becker faculty. So once you have done discussions with Indian faculty, then you can go back and review the Becker faculty once. You can understand them better at that particular point of time. All right. If we don't have any more questions, thank you, everyone. I hope this was helpful for you all, and have a good rest of the weekend with yourself, and hope to see you guys soon. Thank you.